Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Welcome to all of you who are here. Welcome to all of you who are watching at home. There are real live people here, and it's a beautiful sight. It's great to be together. And inside, believe it or not. So welcome, Shabbat Shalom. We have a beautiful, beautiful service tonight, and tonight kicks off Aaron's bat mitzvah weekend. We're here with her and her family, and she's going to participate. Her mom's going to participate. And we're really, really happy to be together. We're going to begin on, before we begin anything, please turn off your cell phones. Even if you're sure your phone is off, please take one more look. And be sure you power down.
Yeah. Even if you're watching the live stream on your phone, right, you still want to turn them off. Yeah.
We're going to begin with Lechu Neranana, page 12. Page 12, everyone.
Let's join together. It's a beautiful, joyous Hasidic melody. Come, let us sing to God. 1, 2, 3. Lechu Neranana, Lechu Neranana, Lechu Neranana, Adonai. Lechu Neranana, Lechu Neranana, Lechu Neranana. Naria, let's yishenu, nekadama pana betoka. Naria, let's yishenu, vizmirot naria la. Lechuneranena, 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 Adonai. Lechuneranena, 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 Adonai. Naria, let's yishenu, nekadama pana betoka. Naria, let's yishenu, vizmirot naria la. Lechuneranena, 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 Adonai. Lechuneranena, 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 Adonai.
All right,
we're awake now.
Now we're awake. It is now my honor to invite Aaron's mom, Marina, forward. And you know what? Your grandmothers are here too, so let's have the grandmothers. No? Come on, just come up. Come on, you don't have to say anything, I promise. We just want to see you and let you be up here with Marina. We'll make
Aaron,
Marina
you
do
too?
all the work, I promise.
Yeah,
okay?
you too. Yeah.
Yeah, and Aaron, yes, of course. Candle lighting is on pages 2 and 3.
Don't be scared. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Do the blessing together.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu להדליק נר של שבת.
Thank you, guys. Go ahead, sit down. Shalom Aleichem, page 24.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruchuni L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedechem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
In just a moment, we're going to sing Lecha Dodi, which you'll find on page 20. Lecha Dodi is an acrostic poem, and this is the poem, the song by which Jews all over the world officially welcome Shabbat into their synagogues. Most of us have been in a stadium at some point and been a part of a wave. I like to think of Lecha Dodi that way because Jews are welcoming Shabbat in all 24 time zones. And for the last verse of Lecha Dodi, Jews all over the world, time zone by time zone by time zone, face the back of their sanctuaries and bow to welcome Shabbat within. And if you think about it, it's a kind of a wave of Shabbat that washes over the entire world, and we're a part of that tonight. So we're going to do verses
1, 2, 5, and 9.
1, 2, 5, and 9. And for verse 9, we're going to rise and face the back of the sanctuary and be a part of that wave of Shabbat washing across the world by the Jewish people. Lecha Dodi, page 20.
Lecha Dodi likrat kahala, b'nei Shabbat mikabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kahala, b'nei Shabbat mikabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kahala, b'nei Shabbat mikabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kahala, Shabbat mikabela, Shahamor v'zachor v'didur echad, Nishmi'anu el hamiyuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, V'shem u'diveret v'liktehila. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Dodi likrat kara, B'nei Shabbat mikabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kara, שבת נקבלה, לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה, ראש מקדם לסוכה, סוף נעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך אדוני, לך אדוני לקראת קרה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך אדוני לקראת קרה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורי קומי, אורי, 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 שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך אדוני, לך אדוני לקראת קרה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך אדוני לקראת קרה, פני שבת נקבלה. Verse 9 together, this beautiful melody for a wonderful composer from Argentina and Israel. Boi v'shalom, ateret ba'ala, gam b'simcha u'v'tzahola. Shalom, ateret ba'ala, gam b'simcha u'v'tzahola. Toch emunei am segula, boi chala, boi chala, boi. Toch emunei am segula, boi chala, boi chala, boi. Boi chala, boi chala, boi. Boi chala, boi chala, la 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Toch emunei am segula, boi chala, boi chala, boi. Boi chala, boi am segula, boi chala, boi chala, boi. Boi chala, boi chala, boi. Boi chala, boi chala, boi.
Please be seated. Chatzi Kaddish, page 26.
יתקדש ויתקדש שמי רבה.
Amen.
מעלמד ורחרותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון וביומכון ציון ובחיי כל בית ישראל בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לילה מן כל ברכתו ושיערתה תושבחתה ונחמתה תמירן בעלמא ואמרו Amen.
Page 28, we rise for the Baruch Hu.
Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Baruch hu et Adonai habevorach.
Let's turn to page 32. And I'm pretty sure if I stopped the service right now and looked out at all of you here and all of you watching at home and said, God is love, you would wonder, what's gotten into the rabbi? That's a evangelical Christian idea. Except for the fact that on page 32, we have this beautiful prayer, Ahavat Olam, that talks about God's love for the people Israel. And that God's gift of love to us comes through the Torah. So this idea that God is love is a deeply Jewish idea. And we celebrate that love every Shabbat. And every time we sing Ahavat Olam, page 32.
Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadta. Al kein Adonai, Eloheinu, b'shokbenu v'kumenu, nasiach b'chukecha. Al kein Adonai, Eloheinu, b'shokbenu v'kumenu, nasiach b'chukecha. ונשמח, בדברי תורתך, ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו באורך ימינו, ובהם נהגה יומם ולילה. כי הם חיינו באורך ימינו, ובהם נהגה יומם ולילה. כי הם חיינו באורך ימינו, ובהם נהגה יומם ולילה. כי הם חיינו באורך ימינו, ובהם נהגה יומם ולילה. עבדך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד.
Be seated, and want to invite Aaron to come on up, and Aaron's going to lead us in the Ve'ahavta, which you'll find on page 36.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברתם בעם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
We read together on page 37.
Love your God, yeah.
Love your God with every heart,
heartbeat,
with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work. Whether you are tired or you are rested, let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to do all of my mitzvot, so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai your God.
Great job. Go ahead, sit down. Yeah. Page 40. Page 40 is, you'll see the Micha Mocha, our freedom song. Freedom is something we often take for granted. I was on a Zoom today with someone who's working on a segment for something on television, and she asked me what was the greatest idea that the Jewish people brought to the world. You know, if you had to choose one, and I said I can't choose one. There are two. The first is the Shema. This idea that there's a single unifying principle or force behind all of existence. That the world was created in a harmonious way, not a fractious way. And the second is this idea of freedom, that we can change, that we're not locked into an unceasing cycle of life, that we can change ourselves, we can change our neighborhood, we can change our city, our nation, and the world for the better. That's a deeply Jewish idea, that we're free to change. And we celebrate that. We celebrate that freedom when we sing Micha Mocha. Page 40.
young Israeli composer, Oran Eldor. Embrace it with me.
Page 42, Hashkivenu. I started the service by talking about the many things we often take for granted. I, like all of you, I'm starting to emerge from the cave, spending more time in my car and more time out in the city than I have in a year and a half. And I suppose, like most of you, am shocked by the fact that homeless encampments stretch from Santa Monica to downtown, all the way. And I don't pretend to know what to do about that. If you gave me all the money and all the power, I wouldn't have an answer. But I do know that it causes me to count my own blessings. The simple blessing I so often take for granted, to be able to lie down in peace and to rise up in peace. The roof over my head and food in my refrigerator. A little is a lot. And this is our prayer to remind us never to take for granted the most basic of human dignities that every one of us here has. To lie down in peace and to rise up in peace. Let's read the English and then we'll hear some beautiful music. Page 42. Let's read it together. Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace and raise us up our guardian to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel. For your name's sake, be our help. Shield and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Defend us against enemies, illness, war, famine, and sorrow. Distance us from wrongdoing. For you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, are gracious and merciful. Guard our going and coming to life and to peace evermore.
Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom. V'hamidenu malkeinu l'chayim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right.
Shamru, page 44.
V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asod et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam b'rit ha'olam. V'shamru, you take over. Let them hear it on the live stream. Beni wa ben bnei Yisrael oti le'olam v'shamru. Shet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz v'shamru. Shabbat uvayom hashvi'i Shabbat Shabbat, Shabbat, Shabbat v'yinafash v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asod et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם.
Now we're going to invite Aaron back up to lead us in the Amidah, page 46. If you're able and willing, please rise.
Adonai sefatetiv sha'ufia gita ilatecha Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzhak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rahel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Chagadol, Ha'gibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Hasadim Tovim, Ve'konei Hakol, Ve'zocher Hasei Avot v'Ima'ot, U'mevi Ge'ula Le'lim Mipneihem, Leman Shemo be'ahava, Melech Chozer U'Mashiach U'Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekin Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mehayeh hakol atah, Rav le'shia, Meshib harua u'morib hagashem, Mehakel chayim behesed, Mehayeh hakol berachabim rabim. Somech noflim ve'rochei olim, Umatir asarim, Umekayem emunato, Lishenei afar, Mihamocha ba'al givurot, Umido melech, Melech milim, Umachayem, Umatzmiya Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah lechayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai mehayeh ha.
We continue now with the rest of the Amidah silently, pages 52 through 62.
Meditation of my and my Redeemer. Oseh shalom bimromah, hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
Let's turn to page 253. And in the middle of page 253, we'll find the Misha Bera prayer. This is a prayer that we recite for people we love who are ill, who are suffering. They may be near, they may be far, wherever they are, they're in our hearts. I remember the first time that someone said they were praying for my dad. He's a friend of mine I've known for 35 years, and he's part of a black Baptist church. And my dad was just diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and he called me to say, "I'm praying for your dad." It touched me very deeply. It helps to know that people are praying for us, and it helps us to pray for them. It may not cure them, but it certainly helps. So if there's someone on whose behalf you'd like us to sing the Misha Bera tonight, just stand or raise your hand. I'll point to you, and you can then mention the name or the names, and then we'll all join with Cantor Gurney on page 253 to sing the Misha Bera. Shabbat Shalom again, everyone. I had a difficult task when I was thinking about what to say tonight to all of you about this week's Torah portion, which is the first Torah portion in the Torah, Breshit. And Aaron has written an extraordinary sermon for tomorrow, so I'm a little intimidated by that. And I've really tried to think about what do I want to emphasize about this week's Torah portion. And I thought of a joke, one of my favorite jokes about the importance of choosing what to emphasize. So let me start with that, so you can share in my dilemma. This is a joke about an elderly man named Mr. Cohen who was caught swimming in the farmer's pond in his boxer shorts. And he gets arrested for this, and he's hauled before the judge. And the judge says, Mr. Cohen, you've been cited with trespassing in the farmer's pond. How do you plead? Mr. Cohen says, not guilty, Your Honor. Judge looks at him and says, Mr. Cohen, you were swimming in the farmer's pond in your boxer shorts right in front of the sign that said, private, no swimming. Now, how do you plead? Mr. Cohen says, not guilty, Your Honor. Judge says, could you please explain yourself? He says, yeah, that's not what the sign said. The sign said, private? No, swimming. You see, so it took the band a little while to get that, but I'm glad it made its way over there, Leo. That's good. By the way, there's the same joke you can tell if you want to tell it to an LA crowd about a U-turn. It says, no U-turn here. It says, no, you turn here. So it's the same joke, really. So emphasis is really important, and I really struggle with what to emphasize about this week's Torah portion. Should I emphasize the fact that the first word, Bereshit, in the beginning, is translated two different ways by Hebrew translators. One group translated it as, in the beginning, God created. And another group translates it as, when God began to create. Now, if you say, in the beginning, God created, it means that creation is over and done with. If you say, God began to create, it means that creation is an evolutionary, ongoing process in which human beings play a role. Huge difference. So I could have chosen to talk about that. I could have chosen to point out that God creates everything by speaking. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. So I could have chosen to talk about the fact that words have real and concrete power. Words can create and words can destroy. I could have chosen to talk about the fact that everything God creates, after God creates it, God says, anybody want to help me? It is good, right? God created day and night. God said it was good, not great, not perfect, not flawless. So I could have chosen to emphasize the fact that what we get in life and in the world is good, not great, not perfect, which fits pretty well with the first thing I might have spoken about, this idea that creation is an ongoing process and we have a role to play in making it better. I could have chosen to talk about the fact that the first time the words not good are used in the Torah is when God creates Adam, man, and says it's not good for a person to be alone, that we need each other. I could have chosen to emphasize that. I could have chosen to point out that lots of other species were created before human beings. Lots of them. We weren't first. We were toward the end. And that the rabbis point out that's a lesson to us about humility, that other creatures on the planet are just as important as we are. Could have chosen to emphasize that, I guess. I could have chosen the idea that the first commandment in the Torah is pru urvu, be fruitful and multiply. And that American Jews are having 1.7 children per couple and replacement rate is 2.1. We're shrinking. I could have chosen to emphasize the fact that the first time the word holy is used in the Torah, The first time anything is called holy, it's not a thing at all. It's Shabbat. It's a time, it's a moment. It's time that's considered holy. Things can be good. Time is sacred. So I could have chosen to emphasize any one of those things, but instead, I chose to emphasize them all. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. All right? That reminds me of another joke. It really does. There's these people from two different shuls bragging about their rabbis, and the first group says, "Oh, our rabbi's so brilliant. He can talk about anything for an hour." People in the other shul say, "It's nothing. Our rabbi's so brilliant, he can talk about nothing for 2 hours." So I could keep going, but I won't. 2-drink minimum tonight. Okay. Couple of announcements, and then we're going to continue and conclude our service. First of all, Aaron, congratulations. Mazel tov to you and to your beautiful family. You did a great job tonight, and you're going to do just as beautifully tomorrow. We're very, very proud of you. Cantor Gurney, you want to thank our musicians, please?
Thank you, musicians. They're all extraordinary. Let me introduce you to them. At the keyboard, Bill Beck. You know, he's celebrating his 49th anniversary at Wilshire Boulevard Temple.
Wow.
We were barely born.
Yeah, wow.
When Bill started.
49 years.
That's amazing.
Have we given you a raise yet?
Cost of living, I think. Yeah. Hope Easton on cello, who's been playing with us for, I think it's close to 15 years now, Hope. You started when you were what, 19?
I think it's age, but that's okay. We can
But,
add.
you know, Leo Shalyapov on our wind instruments. And Livia, you're going to have to forgive me because I don't know you have a hyphenated last name, right?
It's like this every time. It's okay. However, we are.
Thank you, Livia.
What she said.
Our percussion.
Please, we're just launching now all of our new fall classes, lectures, cultural events, films. Everything is launching now. I'm not going to go through a detailed list. I'm just going to ask you to take your emails from the temple seriously. You're getting emails every day about the many things that are happening. Please don't treat it like junk mail. Just take a moment and scroll down those emails to see all the various things that you can do and be a part of. And I really hope that you will. The staff has created some pretty amazing things for this fall. So please pay attention to your emails. And anything else? I think that's about it.
I think that's it.
Okay. Let's now refocus into our prayer book for the 2 final prayers of our Shabbat evening service. And then Aaron's going to come up with her family, and we're going to do Kiddush and Motzi. We're going to turn now to page 282. Page 282, and please rise for the Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakod, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני ברך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. This is the time when we enter into moments of Kaddish and moments of memory. In just a moment, I'm going to be reading first the names of loved ones of our congregation who have died during this Shloshim, this past 30 days, followed by the names of those whose yortzites, the anniversary of whose deaths, were commemorated during this past week. Those of us who are here during the 30-day period of losing a loved one are here for yortzeit, for the anniversary of the death of our loved one. I'm going to ask that you please stand if you wish to, and then I'll read all of the names, and then we'll all stand with you and we'll join together in the Kaddish on page 294. We begin now with the names of those who have died during this Shloshim. Frank Barnes, Dan Bunnan, Mildred Chanis, Sandy Chatkin, Phyllis Copen, Ruth Davidson, Seema Gapsky, Gloria Gold, Winnie Kaltman, John Kim, Cynthia Levine, Mary Marina, and Howard Flute. We add to their names the names of those whose yortzites were commemorated during this past week. Joan Adler, Louis Bera, Harry Bender, Lenore Berkowitz, Sam Bernstein, Gerald Blankford, Bernard Bonwit, Miriam Bransky, Edward Brooks, Stanley Brown, Mayor Cohen, Alan Cohen, Henrietta Colton, Hector Del Sol, Abraham Drotch, Doris Epstein, Albert Azor, Jordan Feldman, Helen Figlin, Marvin Fishman, Bill Flansbaum, Mary Zash Flicker, Marlene Friedman, Ray Friedman, Rebecca Galper, Carol Gantz, Dorothy Gavin, Sidney Wells Gaylord, Harold Gelfand, Lillian Gelfond, Beverly Gersh, Shirley Firestein Gertz, William Glick, Richard Goldman, Madeline Goodwin, Ben Gordon, Jules Gordon, Nathan Gordon, Evelyn Greenberg, Erna Heller, Brenda Hill, Margaret Hochschild, Betty Hollander, Ann Jenkins, Sue Ann Kalkstein, Elkin Kaufman, Claudine Keith, Evelyn Klappholtz, Henrietta Yetta Klein, Leonard Clevan, Sheldon Kramer, Ray Kurtz, Gloria Lash, Arthur Lazier, Irving Lazier, Gregory Legan, Gail Levy, Cy Lieberman, Marcia Lind, Richard Lobenthal, Judy Madwin, Abraham Mandel, Art Mandelbaum, Lily Markowitz, Helene Melvin, Doris Blumberg-Meyer, Molly Miller, Laura Nadelman, William Newman, Les Preston, Rita Pinus, Henry Rath, Marvin David Ratner, Dan Ross, Walter Roth, Bernard Ruman, Olin Ruxin, Joseph Schwartzman, Renee Schwimmer, Leslie Seelig, Paul Seltzer, Ruth Shaken, Abraham Sharafi, Leonard Sikoff, Rose Sills, George Robert Simon, Benjamin Sclaver, Marjorie Slotkin, Ralph Snyder, Lois Stacker, Irving Starr, Otto Storansky, Douglas Sussman, Jules Triton, Leonard Trank, Evelyn Tuck, Deborah Ungers, Louis Vigon, Sorley Wagman, Fern Beatrice Wallace, Miriam Webster, Bob Whitman, Mildred Ween, Arnold Winthrop, Shirley Winthrop, Warren Wolf, Robert Wunsch, and Sally Zaviner. Are there any other names to add to Kaddish this evening? We also call to mind those we do not know but to whom we are deeply grateful. All of those who've died defending the United States of America and the state of Israel, the innocent victims of senseless terrorism and violence and suffering all over the world, and everyone who has no one to say Kaddish for them. We take them all as our own this evening. Please rise now and we'll join together in the Kaddish on page 294. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah.
Amen.
Ve'alma divrach hirutei ve'amlich malchutei. V'chayechon uve'yomechon uve'chayei dechol beit Yisrael. Ba'galav v'zman kariv ve'imeru. Amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam u'almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekucha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tush v'chata v'nechemata da'amiran ba'alma v'imeru. Amen. Yehei shalom rabba min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru. Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, u'yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru. Amen.
Shalom bimroma, uyaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom bimroma, uyaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'akol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'akol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom bimroma, uyaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom bimroma, uyaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'akol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'akol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'akol Yisrael. Shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yisrael, amen. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. You make Kiddush in here? Well, we got to make it somewhere. All right. All right, Aaron, you're going to come up here. Grab that Kiddush cup, if you will. Just hold it up. Let's all join in Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshana b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron le'maaseh bereshit ki hu yom techilach le'mikra'e kodesh zecher yitziat mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uv'ratzon hinkaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen. L'chaim.
All right, now we're going to get your two brothers up here, okay? David and Charlie, come on up here because we're going to have a little brotherly tug of war with this challah, okay? I want each of you to hold half of this challah. Not you. We're going to do this with your brothers. Okay. Now, we're all going to say motzi, and then I'm going to count to 3, and we're going to see what happens.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
So much for counting to 3. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
He was fast. He was fast on the draw.
To Aaron, you were great.
Shabbat Shalom. Drive
Shabbat
safely,
Shalom.
everyone.
Shabbat Shalom. There's juice and challah in the back also, everyone. Shabbat Shalom.